What's up, everybody? Michael Johnson here with Magic for Life. Today, we're going to talk about our emotions.
Hi, my name is Michael Johnson, and I'm part of a motivated group of people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. Emotional mastery is our journey, and unlocking our true potential is the key. We are Magic for Life, and this is your weekly magic.
Hey guys, thanks for joining me today on this special podcast about emotions. I love this subject. In fact, it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about. Through the years, talking about emotions has really made such an impact on my clients, whether it be my dancers or just any of the peak performance and personal development clients that I've had. We constantly are dealing with emotions. You know, the thing is that everything we do every day is all about feeling something. When you feel tired, you want to sleep. When you feel hungry, you want to eat. But when we talk about emotions, a lot of the things that we do every day are based upon what we feel or what we want to feel. Now, here's the thing. Here's this great statement. We do our emotions. I love this concept. I love the idea behind it. And honestly, I believe it in full effect. Now, what's that mean? That means that we are responsible or response-able to do our emotions, to take care of that ourselves. Now, I actually believe that we were put here on this planet to learn how to master that. Now, not just some emotions and not others. I believe that we have oodles of emotions that we're supposed to learn how to experience. And while we're here and while we're spending time on this planet, we are supposed to be learning to master our emotions. Now, that's an interesting idea because if we're supposed to master emotions, that means that we've got to learn the best process of actually eliciting these emotions and these emotional states. So if you could feel any way you wanted to right now, what would it be? What would you feel? What would you decide to feel right now? In fact, you already did. And here's the tricky part. You are feeling a specific way right now, and you chose to feel that way. We do our emotions. As I said earlier, we're response-able. Now let's think about that word, responsible. Responsible is split into two pieces, response-able, and that means you're able to respond. Now, your ability to respond to situations is directly linked to this idea that we create meaning for the things that are going on in our world. What meaning, you might ask? Well, we've actually created these two primary questions, and we ask them nonstop all day long, kind of like they've been inserted in our autonomic functions, things like our blinking, our heart beating, digesting food. You don't actually tell your body to do that. It just happens. Now, how does it happen? Well, we're complex, and so we won't go into that. But our idea or our functioning is that we operate with a subconscious and a conscious mind. Our subconscious takes care of all of these autonomic functions that we have, and our conscious mind takes care of things that are right present in front of us. Now, our subconscious is a tricky spot because our subconscious is one in which we don't necessarily control. But maybe we do. Maybe we can influence that subconscious. Maybe we can influence with our conscious mind. And that's possible. Now, think about your blinking for just a second. Oh, I know. My dancers hate it when I talk about their blinking. If you start thinking about your blinking, the question is, should you blink? Should you not blink? Should you keep staring? Why is he talking about my blinking? But the more I bring blinking into your conscious mind, the more you get in the way of what normally would happen. Now, as we continue to think about blinking, you are wondering to yourself, well, why am I thinking about the blinking? Well, mostly it's just so I can bring it to your conscious mind. But here's the thing. As you do that, you can manipulate how your blinking is going. Now, if you did that enough, you could probably get it into your subconscious and get it to operate in a different fashion than maybe you had already done. There are people that have learned to control their bodies in such amazing ways all throughout the planet. And, there's some people that can slow their heart rate down almost to the point where they appear to be dead, but they're not. There's all sorts of things that you can manipulate with your mind, through your conscious mind, if you actually were to practice it and get control of that idea. Now, here's the thing. If we want to actually get in and work on our subconscious mind, the best way to do it is obviously through the conscious mind. So here's the thing. What if you could control your emotions? Well, I've already said you could. I already said that you're doing it already. We have those two primary questions. And what are those? What does this mean? And what am I going to do about it? Those are your two primary questions. Now, these two questions, they're fabulous. They are really great questions. In fact, it's like thinking about your blinking. If I tell you to do it, the more you think about it, the more it gets kind of obnoxious, kind of like thinking about your blinking. So as you think about what does this mean? What am I going to do about it? Everything that I'm saying to you right now, you're actually thinking to yourself, what does this mean? What am I going to do about it? But you ask and answer those questions so fast that sometimes we just don't even realize that those two questions are going on in our mind. Now, what happens when we feel an emotion? Well, in order to feel an emotion, you have to give meaning to something that's happening to you around you, something that's happening in your world, something that happened to you, and you give it meaning, and all of a sudden you feel something about it. Now, as you give something meaning, so does the feeling come along with it. So what if I were to take out a pen and throw that pen and hit you in the face? Well, what would you think? You would say, well, what does that mean? And you'd answer that, and you'd say, well, it's Michael being crazy with his antics. He's just throwing something at me and he's being silly. Or maybe it hit you and it hurt, and you decided, you know what? That's not okay, because he just hit me with a pen and I don't feel good about that. And so then you could get angry about it. So on one end, you could completely be laughing and think it was funny. And on another end, you could completely be angry and maybe get in a fight. Well, everybody has this ability to respond, and with your ability to respond, you can actually assign meaning to the situations around you. Now, it's amazing, and I know we've all been in this situation before, where we've had something major happen to us, and as that thing happened, we gave it meaning, but somebody next to us gave it a different meaning. And as we maybe got angry about something, the person next to us gave it and assigned a new meaning, and they go, "Why are you getting mad?" And you say, well, I got mad because of this and that and this. And the person next to you goes, oh, really? I thought it meant this. And all of a sudden you feel, oh, no, I guess I did give it the wrong meaning. We've all had this experience. This is totally normal and totally common. So it's just a little bit of proof behind the idea that we do our emotions. Now, what emotions do we do? Well, I propose that we do all of them. All of them. Not just some of them, not just some of the time, but all of them and all of the time. Now, if that's the case, then really what must be mastered is how to turn them on and how to turn them off. Now, this is a crazy idea, right? I could turn on my emotion, I could turn off my emotion. Well, how do you do that? You give meaning to it. And sometimes it takes practice and it takes effort to learn how to give meaning to something that is in line with how you'd like to feel. Sometimes you can postpone giving meaning to situations so that you can give your mind a little bit of time to think about it and feel the way you want to, right? Because it could be something silly like, oh, my wife made me lunch today, and that means that she loves me. And then the next day, your wife doesn't make you lunch, and you go, oh, that means she hates me. Or it could mean that she was busy and she was running around trying to take care of the kids and get everything ready for the day, and she just didn't have time to make the lunch for you. You see, meaning can determine those emotions. So when I say we do our emotions, that's because from the inside out, from your heart and your mind, you can create the meaning and therefore the feeling. Now, the cool part about it is there are other means and other methods that you can use to be able to feel how you'd like to feel, because you should be directing your mind. You are the captain of your ship. And being the captain of your ship, you should be able to push whatever buttons you want. You should be able to go as fast as you want or as slow as you want. You should be able to pull up any memory you want. Now, the funny thing is that We're very versed at pulling up negative memories. In fact, when something bad happens, we usually relate it to a whole bunch of other bad things that happen, and we are so good as humans at spiraling down this negative path, and we can really work ourselves into a frenzy. But when we think about happy times or happy memories, we tend not to do that. We tend not to stack those happy memories. But you know what? You have to stack the good things. You have to stack those good things, and you can actually build upon those happy memories, but you have to practice the happy ones as much as you practice maybe the negative ones, and maybe don't practice the negative ones. But you can assign meaning, and you can feel how you'd like to feel. Now, some people go, well, that's not true. He made me angry, or she made me mad, or he made me laugh. Well, that's not necessarily true. You gave something meaning right after that happened. And as you gave it meaning, you also gave yourself the ability to feel a certain way. Now, there's a whole bunch of science behind a lot of those things. Sometimes they say emotions hurt, right? Sadness hurts, or depression hurts, or emotions can hurt. And that's true. Physically, they can hurt. There has been proven ideas that you can produce chemicals in your body that have emotional signatures attached to them. And as you produce those chemicals in your body, it literally and physically hurts. So how do you do and deal with that? Well, don't worry. You gave those emotional chemicals that you're pumping out in your body through something called a hypothalamus gland, and you gave them those signatures. So if you gave them the meaning, then you can also give them a new meaning. Now, this is quite the challenge. And I know for some of you, this is really out of the box. And for some of you, you might even be thinking, gosh, that's a bunch of baloney. But you know what? Try it. Try it for a second. Try giving something new meaning than what you initially thought. In fact, maybe reserve your emotional feelings for something and try to get in the way consciously, kind of like thinking about your blinking. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to mention that again. That whole blinking thing, right? When you put it in your conscious mind, it gets kind of annoying. Well, this can be a little bit annoying at first, and as you practice and as you utilize and flex your mind, you can actually get in and start to control how you feel. Now, this is cool. This is really cool stuff. I mean, if you could control how you felt, what would that do for you? What would it do for you? That would be really cool, wouldn't it? If you could control how you felt every day, every minute, what an accomplishment that would be. That would mean that if you were going along and something that everybody else thought was horrible happened, you could actually give it new meaning and figure out the right feeling for it. Now, I don't know what the right feeling is. I don't know what the right feeling for any particular situation is. That's for you to decide, and that's for you to master. I believe we're here to actually gain emotional mastery, because everything we do is to fill a way. You eat because you want to fill a way. You watch a TV show because you want to feel a way. Why did you go see an action movie instead of a chick flick, or vice versa? You go out with somebody you love to hang out with. Why? Because you want to feel a way. And what you have always potentially thought is that something else made you feel that way. But don't worry, they can't stick their hand in your ear and flip the switch that says you must feel happy now. And that's okay. But you have to realize that these emotions that you have and that you're capable of having are in your control. You are perfectly capable, and it just takes practice. Just like going to the gym, sometimes you just got to practice. And there are some really great tools out there, and I've created some really great tools that you can utilize to actually improve your ability to answer those two important questions. What does this mean, and what am I going to do about it? So that's what I challenge you to do today. Start thinking about it. We do our emotions. Start getting in the way with your conscious mind so you can train your subconscious to start to feel how you'd like to feel every day. And so I challenge you right now, and do it for a few days. See how it feels. Start to get in the way of those two primary questions and give some things some new meanings. You decide the meaning. You created the meaning. All right. Well, that's my challenge for you today. We do our emotions. Michael Johnson, Magic for Life. Peace out.
Are you loving Magic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Interested in learning to ballroom dance?
Check out ballroomforlife.com/free for a free 3-day trial. You can learn to dance right in your own living room and change your life forever.